Man, oh man. Hey, Shaman. Hi, Genesis Firm. That must be Lennox. Hey, my sis, my BP. So we're running behind today, having a little malfunction on with Mr. Duke's account. It wasn't going through. So he's got a team of people helping him get back in the mix. But you know, we are talking about mental health, so it's not unusual for things to happen, and you have to figure out how to be peaceful through it. Hi, my shaman. Hi, beautiful Kim, my Missy. So I am actually just waiting now for Mr. Duke's team to let me know that he's 100% ready. Unfortunately, let me move this little camera over here. Unfortunately, what's up, fam? We are waiting. I'm just waiting to see when Mr. Duke's going to be ready. Just, you know, of course, that's how things work when you're getting ready to do the good work. The devil is a lie. So if you're just joining us, I am just waiting for Mr. Duke's team to let me know that he's going to be ready to go live. He actually had to delete his account and redo it, unfortunately, right when he was getting ready to come on. So that's how it goes, right? How is everybody today? Where are you? Tell me in the comments where you're actually joining in from. So we have you on the scroll. Represent your city. I'm looking. So yes, we are waiting for Mr. Duke to join in. Sorry, we are running late. Unfortunately, a malfunction with the phone. His team is working on it. ATL, represent. I say I'm from old Atlanta. I've been here 27 years, so I'm half peach now. Even though I will always be a girl from up north. ATL, shawty, yes, shawty red, what you doing over there? That's when Bankhead was Bankhead. And now it's, what is it, Donnelly Hollowell or whatever. But I am always going to be a girl from the Fall River, Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually put on my goggles and let people know. I'm going to share this with Facebook. Okay. So if you're just joining us, I'm seeing some new faces on here. We are just waiting for Mr. Duke. His team is working. I remember when I was his assistant. Okay, here we go. Let me invite Mr. Duke. Oh, I'm so excited. They got it. I knew they would. Mr. Duke is getting ready to be in the building, y'all. Let's give it up. I'm just waiting for his amazing self to show up. Hopefully you can join in, Mr. Duke. You can also request to join. Okay, I don't see your video. I'm inviting you. Hopefully you see the invite, Mr. Duke. I'm not seeing your video come up yet. You have to accept it. I just invited you, Mr. Duke. Okay. I'm waiting for you. There we go. There he is.
Technology.
Yes, go ahead. Let me put up this volume so everybody can hear. Can you hear me good? Yes, sir. So we would love to welcome. Let's give a round of applause. Put some hands in the comments, guys. We have the legendary actor, director, philanthropist, producer, the man who gave me my start in the business and told me don't take any wooden nickels. Mr. William Henry Zook, as his mama called him, and he is Sir Duke to me, straight out of Poughkeepsie, New York. For you New Yorkers in the building,
Poughkeepsie,
New York. So, Mr. Duke, first of all, such an honor to be graced with your presence. You know, I absolutely love you. You believed in me when nobody else did. Yes, Uncle Duke, Predator. Yes. I asked you to come on tonight because October is World Mental Health Month. And as you know, I have filmed you in my documentary as well. I am a huge advocate after going through my own experience growing up on the mental health side with violence and abuse, verbal abuse, that is, and then meeting my real dad and finding out he was schizophrenic and bipolar. We don't see you, we see your hand.
1 second.
Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. You got that. Represent. We gotta see him lodging in charge. And so I decided that I was going to wait until my documentary was done, but sometimes God has another plan for you. And after explaining what had just recently happened with my stepdaughter, I had a lot of people really start to share with me, that they also were going through some things. And I just stepped out on faith, and I realized that the time is now, and that, we need to start having the conversation with all of the stigma around it. And then also, there's just so much that's not happening within our mental health care system. But through the process of my interviewing all of you from my mental health doc, I learned that there are some holistic ways that we can also take care of ourselves. And so I wanted you to, first of all, talk to us about your journey. I guess we got to go back just a few years when you were younger, and of what are some of, when you started in and as an actor, some of the things that you were going through, and what the pressures were. So before you get into the holistic the holistic side, explain to us the industry and how brutal it could be.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. The industry is complex because in those days that I came through it, there was classism and racism, but I was fortunate enough to find some great white folks that believed in me, David Jacobs and others that saw my talent and really allowed me to direct their shows and so on. So I believe in us all coming together because there are people that helped me that were not black, and there are people that helped me that were black. And so my whole goal is to continue to bring us together because the news is not, in my opinion, the news, because it only reports conflicts and disasters because that's dramatic. But there are people that are doing good things around this world for each other that never gets reported.
Yes.
And so my question is, what are we leaving our children?
Yes.
Are we leaving them any hope of any kind?
Right.
Or is it going to be about just wars and gangs and all the stupidity that is reported? I mean, we have a larger obligation for our children than just leaving them bad news.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yes. Yes, definitely. And you know, with me really being an advocate of trying to find answers and how we do get at the front end with our children, especially because they are so exposed to everything now with this platform that we're on. You know, we owe it to them to also be able to give them positive information like tonight. And so talk
I,
to us.
did I answer your question? I didn't answer your question, did I?
No, I mean, I still want to hear the journey of how you started and actually some of the things that you encountered at that time.
Well, you know, the industry has always been something that, you know, is very, very difficult. I mean, you know, a very, very small percentage of actors work at home. And as a director and an actor, um, I faced a lot. I was the first black director on Knots Landing. And I think I told you this story before, but David Jacobs saw my work. He believed in me, gave me my first job as the director. And so I, I drove up to the gate. I had this used car. I put a little suit on with a tie and a little briefcase. And I rolled the window down, and the security guard looks into my window and says, and I'm quoting now, "Who are you delivering for?"
Yeah.
I said, "What did you say?" He said, "Who are you delivering for?" Now, as I've said in my book and other places, I wanted to say to him, "I'm about to deliver a can of whip ass to you." But if I had said that, I would have been the angry black man in Hollywood.
Right,
Never worked.
right.
So what I said instead, I'm delivering my talents as the first black director on my landing because the keys open the gate.
Yes,
The most rewarding thing was the look on his face. There's nothing more rewarding. The look on his face.
right.
So I'm just simply saying, in those days, it was not easy. Um, but there are some great people that Ellen Burstyn and other people that really believed in me and helped me along the way. And all I can say is I feel very fortunate for all I've been through because it has taught me a great deal. It's not been easy, but with God on your side and believing in that it's not your ego, you're not ego, edging God out, but that you put God in everything and give thanks and gratitude for for every step you take.
Right.
Some of us get lost, you know, we get fame and money, and somehow we get amnesia.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell it.
you know what
Tell
I'm saying?
it.
And for black folks, I call it blamnesia. You know, it's like it's the black man's form of amnesia. The thing is,
He
you
got
know,
jokes. He's always had jokes, y'all.
it, it's but you are reminded. You know, you may have look at every famous face in this building. I mean, in this business, with all the glory they have and all the money they have and all of the fame they have. But buddy, you look behind that curtain.
Right.
I don't want to be there.
And that's what I want to talk about because, you know, you didn't have anybody as a role model from a black director standpoint. You were it. You know, aside from like Oscar Michaud and the earlier directors from centuries ago that we never even were educated about until me going to film school and seeing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't have any role models. Thankfully, you had other people, but how did you get through that aspect through it mentally and being told no? like a lot of people on here tonight are still getting that.
Well, as I said before, you know, my hero was Sidney Poitier. Um, he, how can I say this? He wasn't only an actor. He represented the pride, the dignity of blackness in his movies. And that one movie where, as I said before, he was slapped by the white man, he slapped the white man
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
I said, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And that gave me such a understanding of the dignity that, you know, if I went into this business, I didn't have to be a slave to anything.
Yes.
But if I looked up to him and all he had been through, he'd gone through a lot. And so all I can say is Lloyd Richards, who was my teacher at Boston University and NYU, and he gave me the courage to seek what I wanted in spite of everything. Robert Hooks at the Negro Ensemble Company, people like that were pioneers. Um, I owe a lot to a lot of people because I didn't do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had people who believed in me.
One of the folks on the live tonight asked how was it working with Richard Pryor in Car Wash.
One of the most greatest experiences of my entire career because he's at the top of his game, famous and everything. And so when he's doing his scenes, he becomes that serious actor. When they say cut, he is dancing around with the Pointer Sisters and making jokes and laughing, making you laugh. And he was one of the greatest spirits. He didn't take his fame like I'm Richard Pryor. No, no, no. He was like a regular guy who just had fame, but it didn't get to his head.
Right.
It was so wonderful to work with him.
I got to meet him in the latter part of his life. A friend of mine was his nurse, and he still had jokes.
Yes.
Still had jokes to the end. I mean, unbelievable! What an honor. And you know, so let's talk about the depression that happens within the industry, especially in an industry that you had to fight so hard to be into. And not only did you become an actor in it, but you became a director in it. You became a writer, a producer. Like you cornered the market. How did you get that strength, and how difficult was it for you to get to that place, or was it?
There were difficulties and challenges, but as corny as it may sound, I believe in God.
Yeah.
And whenever I got to the lowest points, I prayed, I meditated. Meditation, I've been doing transcendental meditation for almost 40 years now. And my meditation and prayers and belief have got me through everything. And the people that believed in me, um, you know, God guided me, and also people that saw something in me and believed in me guided me also. And so I didn't do it by myself.
Right.
You know, it wasn't Bill Duke, you know, none. And to today, it's not that. It's that I believe that God has us all here for a reason. And as I, even at my age of 80, um, every day I explore my inner being.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a better Bill Duke every day. Um, no matter what I accomplish in terms of the world, I'm working on me. You know, there's a saying that my therapist taught me. Deep in my heart, I love and accept myself, honor and respect myself, deeply and profoundly.
Ooh.
self-regard and self-respect. No matter what you have on the outside, if you do not have that love of yourself inside, it's meaningless. I'd much rather be rich and uncomfortable with myself. But being uncomfortable with yourself and rich is called purgatory.
Ooh, I'm taking notes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So let's talk about transcendental meditation because, as I mentioned earlier, um, a lot of times it doesn't work for everybody. So I don't want to disrespect the system, but mental health care isn't what it should be. I think there's been a lot of conversations, and I call it PowerPoints about what needs to be done, but we're still having the same fight. What I loved, even when I was your assistant, one of the best ones that you had. Um,
You know what? You know what I love most about you?
what?
Is your humility.
Oh.
I'm lying. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
Bill
ahead.
told me, he said, when you have kids one day, you need to name them Patience because you don't have any. But when I was Bill's assistant, I think those of us that have been Bill's assistant, some of your former ones might be on here tonight. We just always feel that. But, Bill, I feel incredibly blessed, has just, I try not to cry because I am emotional, has definitely been a huge, huge factor and uplifting my life. And, you don't want to give people their flowers afterwards. You want to do it while they're here. And if I had a zillion flowers to send you, sir, I would be doing that right now. But one of the things that I loved is that Bill would always schedule time to meditate. I didn't see anything good with it at the time. Of course, I do it now. But let's talk about your journey to transcendental meditation. I think a lot of people, especially now I live in I've been living in the South. Sometimes they think with the Bible Belt we're not supposed to do that, but it's breath. It's time with yourself, like you mentioned earlier. So how did you start transcendental meditation and why?
uh, that one of the top times in my career. I was in a play called Schools Dying Out for Death, directed by the great Gilbert Moses, and had some very famous people in it. And I was doing very well, but at the same time, I was doing drugs and alcohol. And this lady was a friend of mine. I didn't think, saw that I would come in high and crazy and everything. She said, Bill, you know, you ain't got many more time to do this. You got to start saving yourself. And I was depressed. And she said, you're depressed a lot. So I said, what are you talking about? I said, listen, I have something as your friend, as someone who cares and loves you, meditation. I said, I'm not a damn hippie. I don't want to do that crap. She said, Bill, you know that you're going down.
Mm.
With play, you're making money and you're play, but you're miserable. I want to see you happy. So, what do you want me to do? Said, I want you to do transcendental meditation and just try it for 2 weeks. And it's going to cost you this amount of money to do it. But if you don't like it, I'll give you the money back and forget about it. I said, okay. So the first week went by. I go into the second week, and she says, how you doing? I don't feel nothing. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's mantras and stuff. She said, you stopped taking the drugs and alcohol? I said, of course not. She said, Bill, do me a favor. Try it for 10 days without any drugs or alcohol. And if at the end of those 10 days you still want to get drunk and high without meditation, I'll buy you all the drugs and alcohol you want. I said, what? Bet.
Right?
So, first 2 or 3 days, okay. 5 or 6 days in, around the ninth or 10th day in, I didn't touch a drug or alcohol since then. So I get some red wine from time to time, but meditation literally took me off of drugs and alcohol.
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey. Because it takes you to something within you. It's almost, unless you experience it, it's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
You meditate, so you understand. It's like, it's not all peace either. You vomit out thoughts and feelings, but that's the stress that's coming out through the meditation.
Right.
And so, and once you finish your session of meditation, take a deep breath, you feel differently, and it's a whole life-changing thing. So that's what happened to me. I had to go through, talking about mental issues, I was lost.
Did a lot
And,
did a
hmm?
lot of it have to do with the business too, or was it a combination of things?
Well, society itself, but the business, the rejection in the business, even with success, there were limits that were placed on you. Um, but I'm grateful for the people who believed in me in the business and gave me the opportunities I got. Um, but, there's always, I was directing a feature film once, and we were in a location, and going back to my motorhome with my lunch, and I passed by the Teamsters, and I'm going to my motorhome. Someone says, "Nigger."
What?
I stop. I go back to the group of Teamsters that were sitting around eating lunch. I said, "Who called me that?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, as somebody said, "Nigger," stand up and face me man to man. Let's deal with it.
Right.
I said, "Dude, I don't know if you're director of the film. You kidding me? I would ever say that to you." I said, "Okay." I turn around, walk around 20 feet with my tray. "Nigger."
What? You never told me this.
And if I had gone back and punched and hit and kicked and smacked, that would have been a personal redemption.
Right.
But I never would have worked again on that show. So there are challenges I had to face, but I learned from those challenges. And I'm just glad that I had the journey I went on, because God was with me through the entire thing and enabled me to move on, not just be stopped by ignorance or hatred or anything, but just keep going.
Yes. Um, we have some folks on here from Germany, I see. Welcome to the States. Welcome to an amazing conversation with legendary actor director Bill Duke, one of my amazing mentors that I've been blessed to know for a long time, since I was 2.
Okay, Pinocchio, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
um, with the way that society is now, where people can, racism sadly obviously still exists, but now with social media they can get at us every which way. And like Will Smith said it once, it's always been happening, but now it's just being filmed. you know And so how has transcendental meditation help you remain balanced and calm through the process?
Well, it gives you a certain peace within. It makes you love yourself and give as much love out as you can. So when someone does something that's ridiculous to you, you have one of two reactions. You can react on their level, or you can respond on the level of God and love. Ignore them. Ignore the insult. Ignore whatever. You can address them. Even if you address them, you address them above what they did and said. Not, you know, dealing with the madness. Because once you get caught in that, it's a long journey home, put it that way.
Yes. So for the actors on here, as you know, I am back in school late in life and I have taken theater as my minor. So I understand the acting process thanks to you because you told me the best directors understand how to act. When you get into a character and you really take on and surrender to who that character is, if you're playing a very depressed or emotional character, I mean, we've seen over the years where people have actually lost their lives, sadly. And how have you been able to get to a place where you can just let that character go?
Meditation. See, great actors, after the lines are memorized and the blocking is given by the director, etc., and the cameras are set up or whatever, if you're a great actor, when I see the ones I admire, after the lines are memorized, you, on action, you fall into darkness backward.
Oof. I still have
And
written, yes. Fall into darkness backwards, y'all.
fall into darkness backward. And whatever comes out of you is the spirit of you, or that character that you've surrendered to comes through you. It's not you just trying to be this or that or say the line this way or not, blah, blah, blah. The reality and truth of the circumstance is what you become. Because you've fallen into darkness backward, you've given into your ego, everything. And you trust yourself. Self-trust is not the easiest thing in the world to do, but great actors do that.
So what
When I saw Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, she had to decide what child to give up. It goes on a train. I mean, not only women, but every man in that audience just felt it.
yes. And so it is a process. And what advice would you have for young actors now to have a foundation in self? What are some of the advice or keys or things that they should start searching for to do before they even get into the entertainment business?
Well, two things you said it very eloquently. Um, there's the entertainment side, and that is you as an actor. Acting is a craft. It's not just you getting on and saying something. The greatest actors in the world, they studied acting. What acting is. It's a craft. Learn the craft. And in terms of the business, learn the business. It's a business. And the business goes beyond your manager and your agents. Today, when I first came up, you had to wait to be discovered that maybe an agent or a manager would discover you, and then your career would be put out there and given to none. Today, you're gonna take a cell phone, like you're doing. You're right now. You ain't going for managing agents. You are creating your own online programming because of your will, desire, professionalism, craft, and determination. You didn't ask nobody's permission to have this show.
No.
You created it. Everybody listening to it right now can have their own show. If it has substance and if you have some lights and camera or something. But it's changed so much. And now with, I ain't getting this too deep, but AI,
Woo. We'll
it's a
never
whole
have our
little,
soul. Never have our
pardon?
soul.
Say it
It'll
again?
never have our soul, though.
It's going after it though.
Woo.
Going after it.
Ain't that
AI is deep.
yes. How do we protect ourselves from stuff like that? You know, people could get really wound up just on what might happen. And, you know, and I think 2020, amongst many other things, from 9/11 to all the way slavery, I mean, I feel like we've had the Holocaust, you know, we're surviving people in the human race, and we constantly continuously get attacked, and there are things that we allow to attack us just on what may happen. And I often wonder, like, you sit in front of amazing, you know, human beings like yourself who have seen it all, you know, how did you rise? How do you continue to rise with your faith, with your meditation? Yes. But how do you navigate a system like that, that literally is just like throwing daggers at you all the way through it, you know?
You embrace
Oof. And do what?
it. Own it. See, AI is one of two ways. You can be afraid and run away. You can take it and use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
It depends on if you let it create fear in you, it's gonna hunt you down, eat you, vomit you out, and doo-doo you. But if you embrace it and make it your buddy, you can make it do any damn thing you want.
Oof. I checked it out. It's creepy.
But you know something? For the sake of our children's future, we gotta embrace it and create something positive. There are people that are gonna take it and use it for negativity. That's always gonna exist.
Right.
But it's so powerful if you embrace it properly. Because at first I was, I don't want, this is scary, horrible, blah, blah, blah. And once I started embracing it, it showed me love.
Hmm. So with you being in Hollywood, how did what can you give us feedback on regarding the strike? Yet again, another stressful situation, especially for those of us that are in production and had no work, myself included. I use that time to write, but where can you give us the feedback on where things stand now?
Well, there's contradictory feedback. Um, from people that I know that are really analysts of it. The writer's strike is basically over. That's not what we're facing right now. We're facing the actor's strike.
Mm-hmm.
And the actors are trying their best to create a future that's advantageous to them. Because right now, what the studios are saying is we can take your image and use it forever and your voice, um, and not pay you anything or pay you pennies. And the actors are saying, no, 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 no. We want something called residuals. And we're not talking about pennies. We're talking about residuals that can feed our families. And we're not talking about anything greedy but fairness. And that we're not going to stop striking until we have that, because we know, to be honest with you, studios, and you know too, with AI, we're no longer needed.
No.
So, and they're right. They have to get a deal that reflects their value, not in terms of just being used over and over again thousands of times and getting paid pennies, but no. Somebody's making money off of using those images and voices.
Right.
They just want fair compensation for that use. It's called residuals.
Yes.
And upfront salaries. But greed has no conscience. And so one of the studio executives said, we're going to hold out until you lose your homes, your apartments. He literally said that.
What?
Literally said that.
What?
And an actor came on, I forgot his name. He was so great. He said, studio executive that said that. You actually said that I could lose my home, MF, and my children could be on the street, MF, and you don't care? He said, I'm going to tell you something, MF. I know where you live.
Woo! I know that's right. Woo! I wish I would have been there.
I know where you live.
Yes, they do. Woo!
So they can be as greedy as they want, but we know where they live.
That's right. And they have a family too.
They got a family too.
So let's talk about the fear that can come from that. By the way, my oldest daughter said, with regards to AI, the plumber's not going to be threatened. All these careers that people may have put on the lower part of the podium. It's like, no, look at that. They're going to be just fine. It's brilliant, right? So
yeah, well, yes.
How do we instill hope? I feel as someone who has been through so much in life and have been blessed even to know you, I want to continue to keep the hope alive for those that are just starting out. I'm in school with a lot of kids, even my kids' age, and that are getting their film and media majors, and what kind of industry should they be trying to create so that it can sustain itself and that there is no fear in even trying to be part of something that they really have passion about?
They should embrace AI and not make AI the enemy. Embrace AI in a way that there are people going to use it in a negative way, but how do you use it in a positive way? Mm-hmm. Embrace AI. Don't fight AI. The genie is out of the bottle. It ain't going back.
Right.
Embrace it to your advantage. And all the people that are in power that are using it for negativity are suggesting, well, you can't use AI for a positive thing. That's impossible because blah, 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 blah. Whenever they open their stupid mouths with that, you know it's a lie because they don't want you to even try.
Right. I mean, medical field, I didn't realize like AI is like the big has read every single thing in the world, and there's no it's public domain. They don't have copyright on anything, but doctors are able to use it because they don't have the books from years ago or in
Right.
different countries, and welcome to those of you. I just saw that the UK is also on our live tonight. And so I do see the benefits of that. And I you're right. I think to remove the fear, we have to start taking classes and understanding how to create it.
I think we have to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it the enemy.
Mm,
Embrace it. How do you use it as a tool to
right.
your advantage? Don't don't try to shut it down. It's too late. How do you use it for your benefit? How do you use it for the benefit of our children to come?
Yeah.
You know, it's like my daughter, my goddaughter, has a child that's a young boy that's a year and a half now and expecting another boy in 3 months. And what are we leaving them? Gotta leave them something good.
Right.
And you can't, well, I hope the government does something, and I hope, no, you have to leave them something good. You.
Yes. Yes. Ooh. I see you, relative. Yeah, she even agrees. One of my death row little sisters from another mister's on here tonight. I escaped death row records and I went and worked for Bill. He's more gangster. All jokes aside, I mean, I thank you for those gems because I think a lot of times what stifles us, even through a mental health and mental illness perspective, is depression and anxiety about what we don't know, the unknown. I have God in my life, and I literally have had, fallen all the way down, and God just continuously keeps me, keeps me on the path of a promise, which is very, very narrow. Meditation, yoga, and mindfulness that I've been exposed to again through you, my guys at Holistic Life Foundation that will be joining us in a few weeks. I'm excited to have them on as well. They'll be talking about it as well. What are the do you consider meditation now? First of all, guys, Bill meditates like an hour and a half, if not longer, twice a day. Twice a day. An hour and a half. That's sitting still with yourself twice a day for an hour and a half. He did 20 minutes when he worked for me, so he's up. I can't hang at an hour and a half twice a day. That's 3 hours. What is the gift in that for yourself? What is the gift in that to keep you just continuing to be as balanced as you are, which I know we just talked about, but what would you say for someone that's just starting out in meditation? And talk to us about mental illness and mental health issues and your opinion of it, because I know that you've actually spoken on about it. You've been involved in films about it. You're in my documentary, and you have seen the scope of it rise and fall throughout the years. And so you are an elder to us, a guru, if you may. How do we get through all of this?
Well, for me personally, reversing ego, which is edging God out, having God in your life, loving yourself, gratitude. People say grateful for what? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough blah, blah, blah. What you do have is your eyes and your teeth and your liver and your spleen and your brain and your feet to walk and your hands to feel, your ears to hear. Uh, hmm. Suppose you just took a couple of those things away.
Right.
How would you feel then? Hmm. Are you interested in the money and you want to call? Oh, that's what's valuable, huh? Hmm. Suppose you went blind. because you lost a leg.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we're taught that happiness deals with external things, and the lessons of life teach us differently. Gratitude. Mental illness for me is a treachery, and it's schizophrenia and other things. But the loss of self-regard, and it comes from the experience. Some people are born with those things, some are through childhood, bad parenting, abuse, all kinds of things that create it. But you can pity yourself for the rest of your life and be just buried by those experiences. I mean, I won't go through all the things I went through as a child. My sister and I, when we were 6 and 7, we were molested by a babysitter. Because we were black, one day we were coming from church and these gangs, bike gangers, we were 8, 9 years old, beat us to the ground. Um, we could have stopped. But God bless the parents that we had. They never let us let anything stop us from achieving things. You know, if we fell, it would make it very simple for you. Get up. There's no sugar on it.
Nope.
Get up. But you're supposed to have compassion. Get up. See, in those days, it was like, they didn't make it complex. And today, so many excuses, man. And one of the things I look at TV and these different things that are on it when I see these children, I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 years old, born with brain cancer.
Right.
And I see them look into the camera and say the things that they say. Born with one arm and one leg. And they're smiling. And they're children.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. It's like you going through all of this and you're still smiling through it. I feel that a lot of times we go through the pain that we go through. I preach about it a lot. It's for purpose. And I truly believe that's why you've touched so many lives, because you've been through your own pain. And you can, you've never been Hollywood, you know what I mean? You're so approachable. I've been in rooms where anyone could talk to you. I'm watching all the comments of people that love you. Um, how do you feel as a screenwriter? I just can't help but tackle those stories of abuse. My cousin was molested by another cousin, and I'm giving him a voice from the grave. My mental health advocacy. Those are subjects sometimes people don't want to touch. It seems even in Hollywood. How important to you are those subject matters to be told?
I think it's very important. But you have to be able to not only have the compassion for telling the story, but there's 3 things you have to address along with your passion: funding, marketing, and distribution.
Back to the business.
You can have as wonderful a story as you want, but if it doesn't meet marketing and distribution needs, funding needs. See, I went through a process, I told this many times. When I first got into business, I had an agent. I would go out and pitch projects, and the network would say, "It's a great idea. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you, Bill." And I never got back to me. I get pissed and angry, and one day I went to my agent and said, "Man, these bastards, man, he told me they love, great idea, great concept, and they gotta get back to me. They never called me back ever. What the hell is that about, man?" He says, "Bill, calm down, calm down." I said, "Bill, did you answer the most essential question that they really expect you to answer in the first 10 minutes of your pitch?" So I pitched the idea. They said, "No, Bill. Here's what they want to know in the first 10 minutes. How in the hell are you going to make me my money back?"
Okay. That's it.
And I said, "Well, that's cold-blooded." He said, "Bill, if someone asked you for $1 million, you want to answer the same damn question?"
Of course. Of course. So that's a nice little, another huge piece of advice, everybody on here. Have your business plan, not just the creative plan. How are they going to make their money back? Whew. You know, Michael Jackson said, this business is 95% about business, 5% about talent. What are some of the books that you've read in the industry, and maybe even some of your favorite from a holistic standpoint and keeping your mind right?
I can't remember some of them. Let me
I
see.
know you had me get the 5 C's, which is the cinematography book.
That's a great book, 5 Time. Um,
It's okay. I was just wondering. I know
I would get another book.
I was trying to remember the one. God. Well, let's talk about your book, 40 plus years in the business.
Yes. Well, I just wanted people to see what I had gone through and what I had learned, and hopefully that information will give them something to think about and maybe follow if they think it has merit, you know. I just try to pass it on, you know, because if you go on Google and look up what percentage of actors work annually, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
What percentage? Some people say 45%. No, no, no. 10 to 12, 15%.
God.
Like that, right?
Right.
So, again, as we said before, you don't have to wait to be discovered. You can discover yourself through new technologies. And as long as you have a great idea and you study the art and craft of scripting, not just getting a big money in your mouth, but some people do that. They get through sort of butts and breasts and they get, you know, eyeballs and stuff like that. But are you doing or giving anything back to relevance? In some programs, some people have found that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all possible.
Is that why you also, I mean, I think back, I mean, you were in theater, you directed A Raisin in the Sun. I mean, is it important for someone in this industry to have a roundabout of talent? That way you could still continuously survive it, not just straight being an actor with that percentage being so low. And then also, by the way, I know y'all have been asking me, I have the book upstairs, but this is the cover of Mr. Duke's book right here. It's my 40-year career on screen and behind the camera. And they were asking if it was audible. I'm
No.
not, yeah, we need to get you to, yeah, that would be great. Bill actually narrated something for me one time, and it was just a little thing that we did for our brother David Banner, who Bill also got to do transcendental meditation. It would be nice for if he was here to speak for himself, but one of the things that he did share with me was that this is rapper David Banner, that him growing up in Mississippi, where it's the Bible Belt. He asked about transcendental meditation, and Bill said, first you have to prepare to go to God. And that's what meditation is. And so, and throughout the Bible, you see that a lot. And I know all our brothers and sisters, you know, they have forms. Everyone has some form of quiet time and calmness and prayer. So that's the information on the book. And yes, so regarding the roundabout of all of the amazing things that you've done, was that because of this percent being so low and you having to make sure that you had stability in other lanes and a passion that you, in a career that you have passion about?
It's called survival. I mean, you have to be able to survive because the bills don't stop coming. So if your acting is waning, the bills don't stop coming. And so, as well-rounded as you can be, whether it's studying the craft of writing, studying the craft of directing, producing, whatever, study that craft. And I've been very fortunate because when the acting went down, I could direct. When directing went down, I could produce or write or act. So I'm constantly learning all this AI stuff that's coming up now. Before I was terrified. And now that I'm embracing it, I can use it to my advantage.
Right. Yeah, somebody quoted you that said, the bills don't stop coming. Bill Duke. Yes, yes. Write those. I don't know about y'all, but I'm writing. I got notes. And trust me, I have books of notes from many conversations with Mr. Duke. And, you know, being back in school, you know, you start to learn new things. Like, what are your feelings about just finding new ways to educate yourself?
Um, Not to rely on what I know, but to really be curious, really understanding that you have to never stop growing. I'm 80. I never want to stop growing. I mean, you know, it's like I thought when I was an older person, I know everything and I'll just lay back and no. God will tell you, are you aware of the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of galaxies? And on those, and there are millions of planets in those galaxies? And how limited the human intellect really is? You can think beyond the limitations of what you think is education.
Right.
I mean, it's really dangerous because people think he's weird, he's crazy, you don't know what he's talking about. You can't let those kinds of criticisms stop you. Because people who think they know everything are always going to criticize.
Yeah, there's those haters out there, right?
Right? Just throw some love at them and smile.
Yeah, I remember Madonna back in the day said, those that hate on me, just gotta wish them well.
Right?
You gotta be at a really big growth part of yourself though. Back in the day, me, I was ready to fight. you know I think becoming a mom and realizing like that you just don't win that way anymore. I just think that when you're fighting a system, being I mean, I'm Black and Italian, I just never fit anywhere. And but you get to a place that you get wiser when you stop falling in love with yourself and realizing that you really do have to work within first before you try to add anything to your life or anyone to your life. What are someone asked in the comments, what are some of the regrets that you have?
Not loving myself enough. Um, Relationships, looking for someone to fill the holes that actually filling myself.
Yeah.
And they're a bad person if they don't fill them. Well, I had these holes since I was 5 years old, and they're supposed to fill those holes for me.
Mm.
No, that's not cool. It's like constantly learning more about you. If you point at someone else, you see there's three fingers pointing back at you. It's his fault or her fault. Wait a minute. You look at your hands.
Wait.
Huh? Yes, look. That's right. Three. Three. What I'm saying is like we should recognize. I have to go in a couple of minutes, but I just wanted
Yes.
to.
In closing, first of all, Bill, Sir Duke, thank you from the bottom of my heart of allowing me the honor to share with all the beautiful human beings that actually joined us tonight. A gift that I've been blessed with as a kid growing up. Ooh, try not to cry. Single mom, dirt poor, on welfare. Hopped on a plane to LA, not knowing, with $200 in my pocket. Uh, as crazy as it was blessed to work at Death Row Records, where I learned how to be a real gangster and not take anybody. One thing I can credit Shook for is that he used to say, nobody's above you, no stars, nothing. And that actually helped me in my career. And then going to work for you and getting my first exposure to production. In closing, I just wanted to say like how you've transcended technology from the stage to even being in Steven Soderbergh's movie with the iPhones. And then most recently with Vandal, in a stop motion. So you have definitely stayed with your finger on the pulse to new technology and even being open as a talent force, um, and being able to kind of ride with the flow and not be set in your ways with old Hollywood. And that's huge because we need to see legends like yourself go ride this new wave so we feel comfortable following. I think so many people get closed off to the old ways of doing things. um, I mean, I was an executive at Turner Broadcasting. When I got laid off, I had to start all over again, and it was those kids out there, my brother from another seg, and so many other people that So Guerrilla Films that allow me to like learn how to shoot, direct, and edit like $500 versus my $5 million budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you for allowing us to see that technology and even the internet is an opportunity for people to create their own stories. I will add that you have to know who you are, as Sir Duke said, Mr. Duke said. I call him Sir Duke because he's royalty to me. um, Knowing who you are so you know what brands you want to create out there in the world and you want to stand on that. And this tonight is my brand. This is me being somebody who's using pain for purpose and allowing the gifts of God, someone like William Henry Duke, uh, and allowing me to share that with you guys. So I wanted, does anyone have any quick questions? We got like 5 minutes and Mr. Duke needs to go. If I were you, I'd put it in the comments right now. I can ask him the questions. Yes, he is royalty. Yes, he is. They said you are royalty. Yes, you are. Anyone have any quick questions I can ask Mr. Duke, and I will ask him if you just put it in the comments. Do you have any final words for us before you leave?
A little black boy is helping his mother bake a cake, and he gets white flour over his entire body. So his mother says, "Hey, mommy, yes, son, I'm a little white boy." Hits him on his butt. What did I do? Go tell your father what you just said. Goes to his father, Daddy, look, what, son? I'm a little white boy. Boom. Hits him on his butt. Go tell your grandma what you just said. Go to his grandmother and says, Grandma, yeah, baby, I'm a, spit it out, sweetheart. I'm a little white boy. Hits him on his butt. Goes back to his mother. His mother says, what lesson did you just learn? What lesson did you just learn? Boy looks at her and says, what I learned is I only been white for 5 minutes and I hate you black people with it.
That's funny. I don't think you
Five,
gave me that.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. I oh my God. I got 2 questions really quickly. Someone asked what it was like to direct Jeff Goldblum in Deep Cover, and the definition of an actor, if you can give us that. And then I love you so much. I love you so much, Sir Duke, from the bottom of my heart and soul. Thank you for, and I'm glad we had some technology problems at the beginning because I had to go to my do you have quick minute to answer the question about Jeff Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum was a great actor to work with. He brought, I mean, you talked about the character with him, and he brought not 100, 1,000%. He's that professional, and when you're in a scene with Jeff Goldblum, you better bring 1,000%.
Okay.
But you got to bring everything. So I love working with him. What was the second question?
Question was, what is your definition of an actor? And then someone asked, if they buy your book, can they get it signed? When Mr. Duke leaves us, what I might do is, if you guys buy the book, maybe I can have it sent to an address and I'll ship them all, get them signed, ship them back to myself, and you can pick them up for me if you're in Atlanta. But other than that, go get the book. Go get the book. So the last question was, what's your definition of an actor?
An actor is a person that is fearless and allows you to see the truth of who they really are.
Well, thank you for allowing us to see the truth of who you really are.
God bless you, dear. Always love you.
I love
Love
you
you.
more. I love you more.
Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, I hope you loved that as much as I did. Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I've heard some of the stories, but I actually learned some new ones tonight. And I hope that you guys got some nuggets out of this as well. Next Thursday, as this being World Mental Health Month, I wanted to be able to share how Mr. Duke has gotten through his transcendental meditation, through prayer, his relationship with God, in a business that continuously evolves and changes. Sorry, I'm shivering a little bit. It's a little cold down here. Thank you so much for coming. Definitely go get his book. I'm just glad that I that we were able to give him his flowers tonight by honoring him. And I just thank you all for showing up. Um, Finally, next Thursday, I will be interviewing the former CEO and president of Mental Health America. That's Paul Gianfrido. I will be posting it. Paul Gianfrido ran Mental Health America, was the former mayor of Connecticut, but he also adopted 4 biracial kids, he and his ex-wife, who later on, one of his daughters passed away sadly of cancer. And his other son, I want you to hear the story because it wasn't just a job, it was personal. His son, Tim, was suffering from schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. It's why he ended up becoming the president. He's no longer the president, but sadly, Tim is no longer with us. But I definitely want you to hear the story of how mental illness does not discriminate, and how Paul has been able to use his pain for purpose in the journey that he was in. And then the week after that, the 19th, I'm just confirming 100%. I have a special guest. And on the 26th, the last day of this month, I am so honored as well to have the 3 amazing co-founders of the Holistic Life Foundation, Ali, Atman, and Andreas from the Holistic Life Foundation. And those brothers, if you're not following them so you see and come in for a surprise of what we're about to go through. These brothers are doing some things in Baltimore, and they're changing the trajectory of the trauma in youth and in adults. And they changed my life as well. So I love you all. Thank you for being here tonight. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you thought. I see your comments. Thank you for being all over the world and honoring Mr. Duke. Thank you, Shaman, for being here, of course. I love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you next Thursday. Peace and blessings.